Hello, everybody. Good evening here in Ukraine. Wherever you are, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, if you're also evening. So today, this is day 4 of HMT, the undiscovered power of conversion. Guys, I know a lot of you will think, okay, this is about science or this is science. I'm not very good in science when I was in school, but please put that aside. This is really important. I know it's day 4 as well, so we'd have had several days already. Fortunately for you, we have all these sessions recorded. So you can go back to Sunday at Delager Official on YouTube and watch all of these videos or all of the sessions that we've had over the last few days. So we have delegates here from all parts, from different parts of the world, but at least six countries, maybe 3 or 4 continents. So I would like to welcome them as well. Hello, guys. Hello. Thank you. Well, they all seem buzzing right now, but it's been an intensive program, and they've had a lot to think about, information given to them. So today, this is day 4, like I said, and this is the 4th session. This session is a very special session for me. I think every session is special, but we have my friend. Okay, let me just not introduce him yet, okay? That's just a teaser, guys. I'm just teasing you yet. My friend, okay, let me just introduce something first before I introduce my friend. All right, today. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. So we've got the mic back. So guys, one thing I didn't remember to say to you is share, share, share. I can't believe I didn't remember to say that. But please, guys, share, share, share. So the game, this is day 4, session 4 of HMT November 2018. And the topic or the title is the undiscovered power of conversion. So I was on the introduction of the books that comes as an companion to these teachings. Number 1, discover the source of your latent energy. Brilliant book. You know, just understanding that I have energy and the source of this energy is really empowering. So this is a book for everybody. Even if you're not following this HMT, I think this is worth getting. Another one here, this is a favorite for everyone, which is create your own net worth. You know, most of us have heard about creating our own network or create a network of people that you know that's useful for your career. But in terms of net worth, not many people know how to do that or even what that means. I would suggest that you get this. All these books, guys, you know, enough of getting people socks for Christmas and getting them sweaters, all these things that are not useful. My suggestion is, here's a book that it would help them change their life and make the individual a better person. They might not appreciate it when they open their pack, but they will thank you in the end. Right, here's another one here, Raising the Next Generation of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. You know, I want to be one of those people. You know Steve Jobs already. That's the Apple guy. And Bill Gates, do I need to tell you? Microsoft. Here we have another book about energy. Again, it says, The Veritable Source of Energy. I'm really interested in these energy books, especially after this HMT. I feel like I really need to know more about energy. I've learned a lot. Science has come alive for me. In fact, Christ has come alive again for me in this, because in my mind, I used to separate science and faith, not to use the word religion. Okay. And this book, I absolutely love this book. No one is better than you. Yes, no one is better than you. I'm not better than you, nor are you better than me. No one is better than you. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, and Jesus died for every one of us. I say that a lot. Jesus died for every one of us. Not more blood for another person and less for others. So this book is one of the books I think that everyone needs to have in their stockings or Christmas stocking this year for Christmas. So here's another book. So without further ado, I'm really interested in this session. Convert your ideas, your burden, experience into a book. Can you believe that? Every one of us have got one of this. You've got ideas. If you don't have an idea, you have a burden. If you don't have a burden, you have an experience. So in any case, this is for everyone. So I'm going to ask you again to please share. And I can say it in another language. Partager. That is in French. So go ahead and share this, please, so that more people can join us. It's going to be worth it, guys. I know I'm very playful, but I can be serious as well when I need to be, and I need to be serious right now. Okay, I'm introducing, like I said, my friend. Over the last few days, he's been a hero as well in HMT. You've seen his faces. You've seen his face several times in his different colors, different formats of who he is. So now you're going to see another part of him. Here we have the humble, handsome, brilliant, absolutely brilliant Dr. Anu Ojo.
Thank you so much. Yeah, great to be there. Yeah. Wow. Well, first, I'm sure our viewers are excited to see Mayowa's face. Yeah, and to hear her voice, because I've seen a lot of people were commenting that where is Mayowa? We want to see her face. We want to hear her voice. I'm sure they're excited to see you. And for that kind of introduction, well, I hope I perform. Well, guys, welcome to everyone. It's good to have you guys. Please kindly share the link. I'll be talking on something that I want to hope that would benefit everybody that is listening. Like Mayowa said, she was already preaching what I was going to talk about. Convert your idea, burden, and experience into a book. So just please go share, and I'm going to be starting with the delegates. How are you guys doing? Great. All right. So you already know my topic. Convert your idea, burden, and experience into a book. I like what Mayowa started with. I mean, there's no one here who can escape from any of these three. Yeah, you can't escape from it. And I did it strategically. That you will be without excuse. So if you go back to heaven and God is asking you, where is your book? You won't say, God, I didn't have an idea. You won't say, but God, I never had a burden, or I never had an experience. So the goal is that everyone here will be without excuse, and that you would know how to convert your idea, your burden, and your experience into a book. All right. All right. So the first question that comes to most people's mind is, can I write a book? Can you look at that guy's face? What does it communicate? He's like clueless. He's like clueless. And that's how many people are when it comes with writing a book. They're like, yes, I want to write a book. I will like to write a book, but can I write a book? Well, people who ask these questions are better off than some other people. Some other people have said they've put the can and the I, they changed places and then they added a T to the can. And then they said, for me, I can't write a book. Yes, I've had people say that. And I'm going to start with my story. You know, I used to be, definitely, I would say I wasn't an average student. I was a good, bright student when I was in primary school, secondary school. But I was that kind of student that I was only interested in reading school books and Bible. And understandably so. I had to read my school books because I had to pass. I had no other option. I had to read my Bible because I was raised in a religious home. So, you like it or you don't like it or you must read your Bible because we have morning devotion. We have night devotion. So, growing up, I only had interest in reading my Bible and reading school books. So I used to tell myself that I am not the book type, I'm not the reading type. So I don't read. I used to tell myself that I'm not the kind of person that like reading. I'm not the reading kind of person. I don't know, have you had that kind of thing?
Yes, now.
I think people say it, right?
People say it.
Like, I don't know if I'm the only one that talk like that. But you like, I'm not the reading type. Yeah, I'm not the you said it here too, right? Good. So that was what I told myself for years, that I'm not the reading type. So I only read because I have to pass my exams, and I read my Bible because I'm a religious person. So I never read, I never read any other book. Like, so for example, people ask me of some books they read when they were young. I'm like, I don't even know the book. I didn't even read. So I only read when I was in school and at home to do my assignments. So I told myself that I'm not the reading person, and guess what? I believed it. And I lived like that. So I never read all those extra books and like that. But why? Because I told myself that I'm not the reading kind of person. So fast forward 2016 January, that was my first HMT I came for. And like you guys are experiencing, we were also challenged to read a book a day. When we're told that, I'm like, guys, it's a joke. It's a joke because, I mean, how would I read a book in a day? I can count the amount of books I've read all my life. And then you're telling me to read a book in a day. But I remember that HMT, it was very intensive. And we had people that were strict. And they'll tell you, to stand up if you don't read your book. Stand at the back. Why do you? Strict. So what happened? I did what I had never done before. I read a book in a day. Hey, it was like a miracle. So Anu, you can sit down and read a whole book in a day. So I started asking myself that, how did I get to the point where I was saying that I'm not the reading type? But the same person that was saying I'm not the reading type read a book in a day. Okay. So I knew, okay, there was that. So that's a problem. That's a problem. So what happened? I left the environment. I always tell you guys that this is about environment. So I left this environment, went back to school. I struggled with book reading because there was no pressure. So I think I tried reading a book, but I think it took maybe 3 months to finish one book. But then, we always have 2 months summer holiday. That's June, July. So I told myself, because I was listening to Dr. Sunday's teaching that time. So I told myself that, Anu, you read a book each day, you tried your best. Although, definitely, many of those books, I can't even remember what I read in those books because it was just speed reading, you understand? So I told myself that within those 2 months, I would try my best to read 6 books. I'm going somewhere with my story. Just follow me. So I set a goal to read 6 books that summer, 2 months. Long story short, because there was no school, so I had time. If I'm not mistaken, I read close to 24 books that summer. Wow. And that summer became the summer that transformed my life. It set me on course. And the subject I studied was on purpose. So I got all the books. I got the first 6 books. I finished those 6 books in a matter of maybe days. So I'm like, I'm done. So I kept on reading. I read close to 24 books that summer. I was grounded on the subject of purpose. From that 2 months, I started a school called School of Purpose and Destiny. Huh? Yeah, I started a school. I was in my final year, and I started training other students on how to discover their purpose. Out of that 24 books I read on purpose, I was so loaded with I could see you and I can help you with discovering your purpose. I built a curriculum out of it. And I started training students on how to discover their purpose. I started a school of purpose and destiny. Wow. So then after some time, I started telling myself that, but come, I was the same guy, it's the same Anu that was saying that I'm not the reading type. But the same guy that was saying that I'm not the reading type read 24 books in 2 months. Out of what he experienced in 2 months, I had a school of purpose and destiny. I was my final year medical school. And if you're in a medical student, you know final year medical school is not a joke. But with that, I was able to have a school, training other students on how to discover their purpose. So what happened? I discovered I was lying to myself. And I believed the lie. You know, the worst thing you can do to yourself is to lie to yourself and to believe that lie. Many people, they've also lied to themselves that they can't write books. And they've believed that lie. And today they are 40 years, 50 years, 70 years, and you hear them, they're like, yes, and I really want to write a book. I have a desire to write, but I cannot. I don't know, but I cannot. Well, good luck. The truth is that you are lying to yourself and you are believing that lie. Now imagine the same person who was saying he can't read a book. I got an opportunity to edit Dr. Sunday's books. That's one of the biggest opportunities of my life. Now to edit Dr. Sunday's book, you know, it's not a joke. It took me close to 9 months to understand how Dr. Sunday writes a book and to get a book done for him on his standard, with his standard. Now I've edited a lot of his books. But look at my transition from someone who told himself that he cannot read. You know, if imagine you tell yourself you cannot read, will you even think of writing a book?
Not even close.
You won't even go to writing a book. My point exactly is this. Above all, you see, above all, don't, please, I'm begging you from my heart, please don't lie to yourself. Because the man who lies to himself, I'm reading a quote by Fyodor Dostoevsky, he's a Russian. He says, the man who lies to himself and listens to his own lie comes to a point he cannot distinguish the truth within him. So that means that I already had the truth within me that I could not just read a book. Right now, I read at least 4 books in a month, right now. At least. Sometimes I read more than that, but at least I read 4 books in a month now. And I've been doing that for like close to a year, non-stop. But look at the same guy that was saying that he cannot read books. But I lied to myself and I believed that lie. And it affected me. So that's why this guy is saying that the man who lies to himself and listens to his own lie comes to a point that he cannot distinguish the truth in him. That means there is truth in you. All what you've been saying you cannot do, it's a lie. You can. So the man who lies to himself and listens to his lie comes to a point that he cannot distinguish the truth within him or around him. And so he loses all respect for himself. How terrible can that be? And that's the reason why before I even start to talk about conversion, how to convert your identity, I want you to please get this. Don't lie to yourself. Delegates were pushing you to do a lot of things in this HMT. And many of you are saying, well, I cannot do it. No, you're lying to yourself. You can. You can. Just tell me you can. Yeah. So what happens to a person that lies to himself? You lose all respect for yourself. You devalue yourself.
That's right. That's right.
And then you don't just devalue yourself, you devalue other people. You see, you lose all the respect for himself and for others. And having no respect, you cease to love. So what does that mean? When you lie to yourself that you can't write a book, that book in you is an answer to someone's problem.
Oh my gosh.
So because you lie to yourself you can't write a book, you don't write the book. Now, do you love the person who is waiting to read that book to get a solution? So you see what this guy is saying is deep. So you cease to love. And where did it start from? Because you lied to yourself. So that's what for me, I have a theory of I can. Tell me anything you want me to do, I can. Now, I might fail, but I'll try. I can't do it. So I receive it. Whatever you want me to do, receive it. I remember the first time I was invited to host a show with Dr. Sunday. I was like, I've not hosted a show before. But I didn't lie to myself that I can't. I told myself I can. So I sat down. It wasn't very good. But today, people see me and they're like, I know. Are you sure you're a doctor? I can. Can we repeat? Say I can.
I can.
That's the mentality you should have. I'm saying this because everything starts with your mind. If you can conquer your mind, you can conquer anything. You can write your book. It starts with your mind. With the I can. I can write my book. I can write my book. I can. Now, this is the first book of many that I have in my manuscript that I wanted to publish this year, but wisdom told me not to publish. Look at the book, How to Become Great Without Money. I was going to publish it in February this year, but I didn't publish it. Now, you see, I wrote this book. This book is like 40,000 words in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Actually, less than 3 weeks. Victor is my weakness because we're together. In less than 3 weeks, I wrote this 40,000. I wrote this. Chris, I think I gave you the book to help me critique. It would be good so that I want to ask you a question. Can you just tell me, did the book look like a rush book? Because people say, like, how you write a book in 3 weeks? Like, you just rush some things down. Please, where's the mic? If you wouldn't mind, can you just say some things about the book? Although I've not published the book, but I'll just ask you just some questions. Yeah, please, who is with the mic? The mic should be around. Not. Is it with you there? Okay, I just want to ask you just a few questions to just validate, because I said the book is close to 40,000 words. Am I lying? And you went through the book, you read the book. I remember you printed the book because I gave it to you to help me critique. Just say a little about the book and then we'll continue.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put it this way. It's even now that I'm knowing that it took you just 3 weeks. Wow. Because you didn't tell me how long it took to read. And I know how many chapters is in the book. So basically, yeah, I went through the book and I can actually say for a fact.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say it was a well-written book. How do I put it?
Okay, that way.
Yeah, it was a well-written book. And one thing I love, which I told you, I can't remember everything I said. I told you then, but I know that there was. I know that there was a smooth flow of thoughts from chapter 1 to chapter 2 to chapter 3, and I love the way you it was like Dr. Sunday's book, but it was different. Let me put it that way.
Legit.
It was different because you had a story to tell, although each chapter dealt with different issues, but it was a smooth sail. I just enjoyed it.
All right.
When I was reading. So it was
Okay.
a very
Thank you. Sorry, I just wanted to do that so that just to make you understand, because the book is not out yet, so you won't be able to read the book. But I just wanted, because I just remember that I gave him the book to critic for me. He was a critic for my book, and I remembered I gave it to him. But I wrote this book in 3 weeks, and something he said is what I want to explain to you. The reason why I was able to write this book in 3 weeks because I already had a structure in my mind on how to write. And I learned it from Dr. Sunday. And what I just did was just follow this structure, and I got it done in less than 3 weeks. And that's what I want to help you with the structure. If you can get this structure I'm going to teach you, you can get your book done in a month. It's all about structure. Structure. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to help you with it. All right. So look at what I have here. I said the power of flight is in every crawling caterpillar, right? Do you agree with me? Yes. The power of flight is in every crawling caterpillar. So also the ability to be an author is in every man. When you say caterpillar, it does not look like a caterpillar can fly. The same way you are now, you've not written any book. And maybe some people will say, "Oh, forget, you are too old to write a book." Or you're not even smart enough. But listen, the ability to fly is in every caterpillar. Not in some caterpillars, but in every caterpillar. So also in every man is the ability to be an author. And like I said in my title, that what I want to do is that I want to show you that you can convert your idea, your burden, your experience into a book. It is so easy to be an author if you know how. And everybody should be an author. Who here doesn't have an idea, or does not have a burden, or does not have an experience? If you don't have, I can excuse you from this class. You can be free. But is there anyone who has at least one of these? Let me see. At least one of these. That means all of you are authors. That means all of you are authors. If you have an idea, you have an experience, or you have a burden, that means you're an author already. So what and why haven't you written your book? So now, I think the right question is, I'm going to give you the right question, but look at this. I said you should not die without writing your book. This is me telling you. I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you. You should not die without writing your book. Don't die. Please. But then, I'll give you 10 reasons why you should not die. I listened to a message by Dr. Sunday Adelaja when he thought about why everybody should write a book. And I'm going to read this to you. Your book will outlive you on earth, believe it or not. Today we're still reading books from Socrates. We're still reading books from Isaac Newton and all of these guys. Shakespeare, Paul, Jesus. He lived 2,000 years ago, but we're still reading his thoughts. Moses. Your book will outlive you. You must write your book. A book will immortalize you as God did. Imagine as great as God is, as great as God is, of all things to choose to immortalize himself, he chose a book. Wow. And he gave us a Bible. And every religion has that. Islam has their book, Quran. The Hindus have their book. Every religion have books they study. Why? It is because books are important. Yeah. Books will immortalize you. You have to write your book. Don't die without your book. Next, A book will go places you never go. Some of you live in France or and you go to Sunday's book. Did they come to your room?
No.
He didn't come to your room. He's here in Ukraine. But his book is in your room, it's in your houses. So some places you will never go till you die, but your book will go there. Your book will go there. So you have to write your book. Through a book, you raise disciples and followers. That's why many of us are here. We read Dr. Sunday's book. And we say, who is this guy? Let me find him. So through books, you raise your followers and disciples. People who will continue your legacy when you're dead. People who will continue your thoughts, your philosophies, your experience. Through a book, you enrich lives with your understanding and persuasions. Some of us, or all of us, we have certain persuasions. We have certain belief systems. Some convictions we have in our heart about life. Some lessons we have learned from our experiences, good or bad. There are persuasions that you have. There's an understanding you got after losing that person in your life. After going through that difficult situation, you learn some very key lessons that you want everybody to learn. Why not write a book about it? Why waste your experience? I always tell people, don't waste your experience. Either it's good or bad, it's an experience that has treasure. Go back and dig, look for the treasure in that experience. And I discovered that it is even in bad experiences that bad experiences have the most treasures. Believe me. Bad experiences, they have the most treasures. Because life does not teach you with good experiences. The best lessons of life come from bad experiences. You learn a lot. You learn a lot. So convert your experience into something called a book. A book gives you an authority status on any subject. All of you agree with me? You agree with me on that, right? You write a book about how to raise godly children. They invite you. You just come. And maybe they're having something with children. And you say, well, guys, I am a specialist. Ooh, specialist, what do you mean? Check my book out. I've written on how to raise godly children. You open your book like, let's give him the platform. So books give you an authority status. Why do we call people who write books authors? Compare author, authority.
Wow.
So as an author, being an author makes you an authority on any subject. So for example, you write about money. It makes you an authority on terms of money. Any book you write, any subject, it makes you an authority on that subject. So it makes you, people want to listen to you, what you have to say. The next one is a book uproots wrong values and virtues and plants right ones. You can use your book to transform your nation.
Amen.
Yes, that's the truth. And that's my strategy with my book. With my book writing. I have books in manuscripts that they're hidden. But every book I'm writing, I've learned from Dr. Sunday, strategic for Nigeria. So, and it's because, and why I'm saying that is because if you know me, you know I'm big on values. So my books are on values. That anybody that reads my book, you cannot read that book and you know imbibe that value. And the book I wrote on how to be great without money, that's a very catchy title, but that book is values. There's a certain value I highlighted in that book. So through a book, you uproot wrong values and you put in the right values. Through a book, you can bring kingdom on earth. Books are important too. And that's why Pastor Sunday is writing books. He knows the importance. Through books, you can get your message out without stress and effort. How many of you believe that for you to speak every day takes a lot of stress and effort? Or for you to travel from one country to another country, to another country, to another country, to another country, speaking, and you die. But convert your idea into a book. Convert that body you have into a book. Convert that experience into a book. print it, just send it. It goes places without stress. People are reading your message. They are getting your convictions. They are getting your persuasions. So your book will get your message out without stress and effort. And a book is a way of giving in one day years of experience. So I'm able to read in one, look at that book, Dr. Sunday Adelaja, his Life Greatest Secret. So imagine, in just 1 week I can read that book and I will get all of Dr. Sunday's 50 years of life in one book. Don't you want to be that benevolent to people? That they can get all of your life experience in one day. Powerful. Big thanks to Dr. Sunday, because all I wrote here, he was the one that said it, and that's what, he thought about this actually on YouTube. I got this from him, and it became my mind, and I told myself that, nah, I'm going to be writing books. I'm going to be converting my ideas into books, my experiences into books. Just so you know, what I'm teaching you on how to convert your idea, your burden and experience, is one of my books. And I'm sure you would like to buy it if you see it in the bookstore. You won't buy the book. Yeah, if you see a book on how to convert your idea, won't you buy it? You buy it because I know you want to write your book. But this is a book in my manuscript. This topic. This is a book. Because I'm giving solution to people's problem. People want to write books, but they don't know how. I'm giving them an answer. And that is the reason why, that's the reason why what you should be asking now is, how can I write my book? Not can I write a book, but how can I write my book? And what is the answer? You have to convert. So it's conversion. Convert. So let's go into business. This is my own chart. This is my understanding. All right. For me, I think 50% of your book convert. Now we're changing gear now. Are you guys ready? Yeah. This is the real deal. Now the other things I did was just introduction. Now we're getting, so get yourself ready. Okay. So this is what I call the book conversion process. 50% of your book is done. Not with an idea or a burden or an experience. You having your idea, your burden or your experience doesn't mean anything. But look at what I wrote there. Your idea must be what?
Developed.
Can you say loud? Your idea must be what?
Developed.
Your body must be what?
Research.
Your experience must be what? Instructive. This sounds simple, but I'll explain in summary what I mean by that. You having an idea is like you have a light bulb moment. But that is not enough. You must develop your idea. That's like brooding on your idea. You must brood on it. Brood. Take time to research on it. Take time to do some development of that idea. For example, the idea of this book is that I want to help people to convert their ideas, their experiences into a book. It's an idea I got. But then, what did I do? I started developing that idea. Started searching on what makes people not being able to write their books. So I started asking many questions to myself, researching on how to convert an idea into a book. So what happened was I developed my idea. Develop. The development of your idea is 50% of your book. When your idea is developed, you're already halfway done with your book. Believe me. When you're burdened, let's say you have a burden for women or you have a burden for prisoners and you want to write a book for prisoners. It's not just enough to just say, okay, I want to write a book of prisoners and let me start writing. That's why people never complete their manuscript. It is because they get an idea and they start writing. Error. That's an error. You don't start writing. There's no how you're going to experience writer's block, and it's not a course. You experience it because your burden is not developed. You've not researched on prisoners. You don't know what they're experiencing in the prison cell. You don't know what it means to be a prisoner. You've not done any research, and you won't start writing. You would stop. There's no how. You can't finish that book. You have to do. What I'm explaining here is very important because this is 50% of your book. This is 50%. This might take a whole year. You remember, I edited a book for Dr. Sunday. Read through the book, not edited. I read through the book, Discovering the Purpose and Calling of Nations. And Pastor told me that he wrote that book for 10 years, if not more. He wrote the book for 10 years. Why will you write a book for 10 years? I'll tell you. Because a large part of that book was on developing the idea. So when it was time for him to write the book, finally, maybe 2 weeks to get into your book, but 50% of your success in your book writing is in developing it. Let's say you have an experience. For example, I'm working on a book on how to deal with the death of a sibling, how to handle the death of a sibling. People don't know. They lose, because I've lost 2 of my siblings. But people, they lose their siblings and they're like, oh, I've lost. Because there's one to handle the death of your husband or wife. That's a different, but because I experienced what it meant, or what it means to lose a sibling. And I know that there are people who lose their siblings and they just give up on life. And I love my brother, I love my sister. So I went through that experience and I said, I want to help people because I went through it. And I was able to convert my experience. So I said, I want to help people to know how they can handle the loss of a sibling. Do you think people will need that book? No, I want to know if my book will sell. Let me give you opportunity to talk. I saw your hand, Pastor Prince. I want to just know if that book is. So maybe I should just cancel the book. Do you think it's a relevant book?
Yeah, just the first few sentences that he said. I'm ready to buy that book because I lost my sibling as well, and a dear sibling to me. So I've never really sat down to process that could become a book.
Do you see how easy it is to write a book? And many of you have gone through a lot of experience. Keep it with you because I'm going to you because we're going to start. I'm going to need somebody to come up here very soon. Yeah, because I want to practicalize with somebody. But imagine, so I lost 2 of my siblings, my brothers. But I want to convert that into a book to help someone like him, or someone who has lost somebody to write a book. There are a lot of books in you. If I start to tell you some of the books I'm working on, you'll be like, so there's somebody. That's how Dr. Sunday is writing his books. So 50% of your book is in your developed idea, your researched body, and your instructive experience. This 50%, it must be intentional though. You can't want to write a book and just say, okay, I'll write a book. It must be intentional. Like for example, you have a question in your heart, a burden. You must start researching on it. Give it 1 hour every day or 2 hours in a week. I want to research on this subject. And be writing down your research. Just be adding it. You do it for some months like this. You have a lot of things to write. When you start writing like this, it just be flowing. Why? Because they're not looking for idea again. What makes people stop writing? They're looking for idea, looking for what to write. I don't know if this is helpful. 50% of your book is completed when you have done, even when you have researched it. The next 30% is the conversion, building a synopsis. And that's what I'm going to explain to you. Because I cannot do this one for you. I cannot do the 50% for you. You have to go and do it in your rooms, in your houses. But I can help you with 30%. Because the 30% is when you convert your ideas, your research ideas, your developed ideas, your research body, and your instructive experience to structure, to give it the skeleton. So to build a skeleton for your book is 30%. Then the last one is your content development and writing. Look at it, it's the least of all of them. So actually, that writing of your book that many people are hitting their head on is the least. The reason why they are having issues with writing and developing their book is because they've not done the 50%. They've not built their idea, they've not applied wisdom to catch the idea. I don't know if I'm helping you. Maybe there's somebody that also has a book that you are writing and you've not been able to complete for years. Maybe you're able to find why you've not been able to do it. So this is what but I'm going to help you. So now, who has a developed idea, research burden, or instructive experience? I want to practicalize what I want to teach with you. Anyone? Who has a developed idea, or a research burden, or an instructive experience? Who has that? Who?
I have a research burden, but it's something I just started.
Because I need someone that's going to help me. I need to know that you have done your 50%, because if you've not done your 50%, I want to bring it to the board, and we're going to have your book synopsis here for you.
In the process.
So what's that? If I want to just practicalize it, so you will have your book synopsis here. We'll do it together. It's not miracle. You see it. You've developed your idea, you've researched your burden, and you have an experience you went through, you've analyzed it, and you have developed it. Anybody here? To do that? You want to challenge? Because I see you're hesitating.
I'm not make sure I understand what you're saying.
All right. Well, you raised your hand first. Do you want to practice that? You have an idea like that?
Actually, let me specify. Actually, I've written one book.
Okay.
So I understand that side of what you're saying.
Okay. But do you have another book that you've not written? What I want is that I want to practicalize it from nothing. I want you to have your book synopsis on this board together. You have one like that, a different one. A different one. All right. So I will need you to come here, please. If you can have a chair so that you can sit down, so I don't stress you. Then when we want to start, then we're going to start together. I want just practical with them. So it's not like rocket science. All right. Okay. Thank you. I have limited time, so I want us to just get it done as fast as possible. You can sit down, sir. Yeah. So while I do the standing. Okay. So. Much now. I wanted us to analyze this scripture, but because of time. But look at this scripture. This scripture is all about conversion. You see, he said, "I will stand up my watch and set myself on the rampart, and I will watch to what? What he will say to me." I wish I can explain this, but there's no time. But I want you to highlight something. Look at it. He is saying that I would watch to see what he will say. I thought we hear what people say to us. No, normally, if I'm saying something to you, do you watch to see what I'm saying to you? What do? You listen to me. But what did this guy say? I will watch to see what he will say. Well, it's fine. I wish I could explain this, but let's continue. So now, what is it? I believe, Pastor Sam, that your book must bring light, an answer, and a solution. Would your book give light, answer, or a solution? The book you want to write.
I think both.
It will give
light and give solution.
And give solution. So that means I want to make sure that you're good. Now, the next is that I believe that beyond information, your book should give direction and instruction. Yep. That's what I believe. Yeah, and that's what you want for your book.
Yes.
Good. It's best to always have a target audience in mind from start to finish.
Yes.
So you have a target audience for your book?
Yes.
Target audience?
Yes.
So that means you're a very good candidate?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right. So let's start. Now this is practical class. I have my blackboard, and we're going to build his book synopsis together. It's just so you see that it's not rocket science. This is how I was able to write the book in 3 weeks. And anyone can do it. The first one is, can you give him a mic so that he has his own mic?
There you go.
Yeah, because I'm going to ask you to be saying some things.
Okay.
But I don't know if this will be seen for the viewers. But what I need is for you guys and for you primarily. Okay. So what's the first thing? Write your central idea. Number one, please. Okay. Wait. Write your central idea, goal, and purpose. This becomes the tentative title of your book. So the first thing is for you to have what? A central idea, or a central goal, or a purpose. So, what is the central idea or goal for your book? And for this, it's best you make it in a sentence. For example, my idea for this teaching is I want you to know how to convert your idea, burden, experience into a book. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You get my goal.
Yes.
You know my purpose. You know my central idea.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Yes.
Good. So, now, what is your central idea?
How to overcome the unfairness of life.
How to overcome the unfairness of life. That is his central idea. So he wants to help people to overcome the unfairness of life. Okay. First question I want to ask you, what you want to teach people, is it an idea you got, or is it a burden that you have, or is it an experience?
To be honest with you, I think the three is applicable.
The three, so it's an idea, an experience. All right, good. So now, let's start. You're going to see it, that we're going to have his book synopsis here. So, how, this is bad already, so let me get this. How to, can you repeat it?
How to overcome the unfairness of life.
Overcome
Yes. The unfairness
the unfairness
of life.
of life. Is this a good title enough?
Yes.
Phew.
Yes.
And I tell you, how-to books are always spot on. Any book that you have, that's one of the things I learned too with book writing. How-to books will always make sense.
Thank you, sir.
Because how-to books is that you're giving an answer.
Yeah.
And people want to know how to.
Yes.
Yes.
So now, this guy is telling us that life is unfair and he wants to help someone to overcome the unfairness of life. Wow. Central idea. So you write down your central idea. That's the first thing. First step. It's easy, but you must know the structure. So that's the first thing. You must have an idea. Try not to put a lot of things together. One idea. Just one. One idea. One goal. One purpose. That anyone who reads your book, they are done with that book and they know exactly how to overcome the unfairness of life. They know how to beat life.
Yes.
That's exactly what you want for your book. One goal. One goal. The next one, there are just 4 stages, guys. They're not 10 stages, just 4. The next one is write down. Now, why I wrote 8 to 12 is that when I started reading Dr. Sunday's books, I lost taste for all those small pamphlet books. Yeah, because Dr. Sunday does not write fiction books. He writes non-fiction. So and I learned from him. So the books I write are not fiction books, they are non-fiction books. So my strategy is for non-fiction writers. And I believe that you want to write a book, a standard book should be at least 30,000 to 40,000 words. Okay. Standard. And that should be like 8 chapters to 12 chapters.
Wow.
All right. 8 to 12 chapters. That's why I came up with the 8 to 12. So now, what do I want you to give me? Okay. I want you to tell me what are the 8 12 top lessons you want your readers to get from your book. And you tell me why you want them to get it so bad. Why? Because this becomes the possible chapters for your book. So I want you to tell me, do you have 8 to 12 lessons?
I will try.
You try.
I'll try.
But they must be all unique lessons. 8 to 12 lessons about the unfairness of life that you want your readers to learn from your book. Don't forget that these your 8 lessons are your what? Are your chapters. You get it? They're your chapters. So just help me. Don't worry, if you're not able to make as much, I wouldn't, it wouldn't be a problem. This is just for illustration's sake. So that for people to know that it's not rocket science, you see. Okay, first lesson you want people to know about life, and this is your topic. First lesson.
First lesson is that unfairness is a reality to every man.
Just wait. Wait. You will see that his book will be done. Unfairness is a reality for every man. You want people to know that.
Yes, everybody will have his own share.
You want your when they read your book, they will know that everybody will experience it. It's a strong thing you have. First lesson. Second lesson.
Unfairness is no respecter of person.
Yay.
You see. So unfairness is no respecter of persons. Okay. Good. Number 3.
Unfairness is no respecter of places.
Oh.
I run from Cameroon to America, it will still meet you there.
Yay.
That's the reason why I wanted. Wait. That's why I wanted. You see. That's why I wanted somebody who has researched on it. Can you see? He has done a research. And somebody who has in camera. Why can't you write your book? Unfairness
No respecter of places.
is no
Respecter of places.
respecter
I moved from Canada to
of places.
I moved from Canada to America.
Exactly. So he has started writing his book already. Oh. He has started writing his book.
You've not written this book, have you?
Number 4.
You've not written.
I thought publishing.
Okay. 4. You want people to know about your book. So what the first one is that it's a reality for everybody. It's not a respecter of persons. It's not a respecter of places.
Unfairness can be your friend or your enemy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you put your microphone?
sorry.
Yeah. So
Unfairness can be your friend or your enemy.
he's saying that he wants people to know, please, that unfairness can be what? Your friend
Or your enemy.
Listen to me. What he's saying is just what he wants people to what? To know. His lessons. Unfairness
Can be your enemy. Friend
Can
or,
be-
your friend or your enemy.
your friend
Or your enemy.
or your enemy. If I want to put, I will put you choose or you choose. Something like that. But it's okay. Number 5. Maybe we'll stop at 6. Just maybe we don't have to go to ask so much. Number 5.
Unfairness can be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Unfairness
Can be the best thing that ever happened to you.
can be
The best thing that ever happened
the
to you.
best thing that
Ever happened to you.
will ever
Happened to you.
happen to you. Now, look at this. Let's stop here. I'm going to stop here for some reason because the board is not big enough. Yeah, we'll clean it and continue.
Yes.
All right. But I just hope that this will be useful for you
Yes.
later. What have I done with Pastor Sam? From Pastor Sam's lesson, so we already have 5 chapters.
Ah, thank you.
We not prophesy. I not do anything. We not. No prayer. Yeah. No prayer. But it's just that you see, he has done 50% of his task. He has researched on it. He did not sow seed, but he has researched. So now look at now we're doing the 30%. You see how easy it is. Just your lessons. Don't even have just read this. Unfairness is reality for everybody. Unfairness is this. Unfairness is that. Unfairness is that. Do you know with this, he can write up to 20.
Yes.
You're not looking for okay, which one should I even choose? You don't really shakara for your. Maybe I should bring this one first. I bring one second. I bring one third. You have it. So your lessons become your chapters. Your lessons become so. But now, don't bother about editing. Let me just say this first, please. The reason why many people don't finish their books is because they are trying to write and edit at the same time. You fail. The reason why many people fail to complete their book because they try to write and edit at the same time. You will fail. As a principle, this is what I do when I write my books. I don't go back. Because I know that if I go back, I will find something I did not write anyway. And I want to change it. Then I'll keep on going back. I want to change it. No. Just write. 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 Don't edit, just write. Just pour down. Write. Write. You can come back to edit it yourself, or you can give to someone to edit for you. That person will be able to see your loopholes and put it for you. So first thing I want people to know is that don't be a writer and an editor at the same time. You fail woefully at it. So now, with what I've done with Pastor Sam, we already have our chapters, right? And this is the second part. Let's now go to the third stage. The third stage is answer these questions about your top lessons. You see these top lessons that you have written, you have to answer some questions. Writing a book is all about answering questions. I'm not joking. It's all about answering questions. It's just that you just want to give answers to questions. So for example, I say, ask what? Questions like what? Questions like why? Questions like how? When? What if? If not? Just ask questions. What do they become? It becomes your possible sub-chapters. So imagine you answer 4 of these questions. What, how, why, and when. You already have 4 subchapters of your book. Let me take an example. I cannot do for all of them. I'm just going to pick one. You like to take one. So, of all of these chapters you've written, which one would you like us to develop a subchapter for?
Number 1.
No, let him choose.
Sorry.
Just anyone. We'll pick it and we'll build it. A subchapter. Just anyone.
Sorry, what unfairness can be?
Unfairness can be your friend or your enemy.
Oh, yes.
Number 4.
Okay.
So this is just an example, okay? So we're going to pick on unfriendness can be your friend or your enemy. So we want to build a subchapter for this. Why? Because your books should be in chapters and what? So, I'm not speaking of novels. I'm so sorry for people who are fiction writers. Right, but I don't know fiction because I don't read fiction books. And remember, I said I don't used to read books. It's DSS book that make me start reading. So I don't read fiction. So I don't know how fiction writers. Because for me, when I started reading, I discovered that I want something that will give me sense, not so that will give me some story. I'm wasting my time. I'm sorry, fiction books don't waste time for some people, but I'm a non-fiction guy. I want to learn principles, pragmatic things that will make me think. That's what I want. That's why I started writing non-fiction books. Okay, so let's go. So unfairness
can be your friend or enemy.
Unfairness can be your friend or enemy. So now I said I want you to answer questions in your subchapters. So the first question that you have to answer is anyone. Question about this now. What about unfairness being your friend or enemy do you want your readers to know? What about this topic? What exactly do you want them to know about this?
Number 1, I want them to know that just like you have seen it, that it can be beneficiary. It can be beneficiary irrespective of the nature of the unfairness. Actually, what brought it was that I was ministering to people who are having a problem of depression and also of emotional problems.
Okay.
And I discovered and listened to them very well. I discovered that their problem is not that difficult.
Okay.
It just is because of their wrong response to the problem.
As I'm hearing you, I'm hearing I've had 3 subchapters.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
But I want you to discover it yourself. Yeah, I want you to break it
So
down.
what I'm
So the first thing that you want.
what I'm saying is that there's a negative response to unfairness and there's a positive response.
Okay, so the first thing is saying is that there's a negative response and a positive response. For me, I would say just to give a word.
Okay.
It all depends. Just an example. Or I can say your response. Yeah. Your response decides your fate. I'm just putting in different words.
Yes.
So, you see, we're talking about unfairness of life. So the first thing I say is that what? Your response decides your fate. That was what he said. I didn't say it. But he just in a different word. Because he was saying that your response to the unfairness will determine if it will be your... Don't forget it is your what? Your friend or your enemy. So now we're telling our readers that your response decides your fate. All right. So we've answered what? Now, next is, why do you want them to know that unfairness can be their friend or their enemy? Why?
Why I want them to know is that because in the time of unfairness, there's always a kind of a shadow that people cannot see beyond that unfairness itself.
Okay.
Everybody will always have that season. In the time of unfairness, most of the time, you will not be able to see what is behind it.
Okay.
There's always a time of a darkness or a covering.
Okay.
When we face any kind of, maybe like my brother says, you lost a lost one, you love a job,
Yes.
marriage did not work out well.
Yes.
There's always a kind of darkness at that time.
Yes.
Because that's why a lot of people commit suicide. Because
Yeah.
they can't see beyond that unfairness at that time.
Okay.
So it's one of the reasons why I want people to know that something is waiting for them behind the scene. Even though...
That's okay. There's see beyond your present situation. That's all we're saying. That thing you're saying now, you can develop it later.
yes.
So that's the second one. Don't mind my ugly handwriting, please.
They're not writing it
Okay,
down.
so can you see what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? We're writing his book.
Yes.
So, and how are we building the sub-chapters? By answering specific questions. What? So I've answered what. Why? Then people want to know how. You see, how? So now, how can they choose unfairness to be their friend or their enemy?
Now, actually, I have a chapter in my book for that. And my approach in that book was that I make references to people who have experienced several kind of
challenges.
and how they come out of it.
Give me a name of someone like that.
Like former President Nelson Mandela. To lock somebody in 27 years in prison is not fair.
Good.
It's an unfairness.
Lessons from. Nelson. Can you guys see writing a book is no? Can you see a book like? I mean, is it difficult?
No.
Can you see? It's structure. All of this you are doing, you've not started writing. You've not started typing your book. Oh. All of this is just that you are building your skeleton. You've not put flesh into it. You're just building your skeleton. Now, you do this for all of the questions. Just ask yourself questions about that thing you want to talk about that lesson. Your question is to help your readers understand the lesson you want them to get. Answer their questions. It's all about picture. Picture your reader looking at that title or that chapter. Picture him asking different kind of questions about that title. What is this author saying? Why does this author want me to read this chapter? How does this author want me to learn from this chapter? What if I don't read this chapter? What will be the consequences? If I read this chapter, what will be the benefits? You are picturing your reader reading your book, and you are answering your reader's questions.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So that becomes your sub-chapters. So what have we done? You have done your chapter, you have done your sub-chapter. Your book is almost done.
Yes, it's done.
Yeah. I'm coming. You have a question?
Just one question.
All right. Please, can you give him? Can you give him? Yeah.
In each question, right, can you have like, for the word the why, can you have more than one what that or more than one why, more than one how?
Oh yes. This is just like basic. So this is just to show you that you should ask questions like what's, ask questions like why's, ask questions like how's, when's. This forms your sub-chapters. Yes, sir.
Also, do you follow that order? Do you have to, or you
No,
can?
No.
No.
You don't have to follow the order. The idea is, I'm not going to teach you writing skills and styles of writing, because that's another thing entirely. Writing is a skill on its own. You understand? And developing your style is another thing entirely on its own. So developing your style comes over time. After you've written your first book, your second book, so you develop your own ways. So people are like, this, just like the way you read Dr. Sunday's book,
This is Dr. Sunday's book.
like for example, he edited my book and he critiqued my book and he was like, this boy is from Dr. Sunday. Because I learned from him.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because I learned from him, I saw his style and I'm like, this is like the best style I've ever seen. I've read, I was able to see some books, maybe not read them, but I see how people write, but I'm like, this man's style is dope, it's good. You understand? And I use it. So that's how I was able to develop it. So your writing style, you can develop it over time. Okay? But what matters now is not the writing style. What matters is that if you can get that skeleton, you should just be like you are talking. All of us know how to talk. All of us, we have our style. This is one of the things I try to tell people. Convert your speaking style to your writing style. Let people hear you when they read your books. It's not easy. Let me know. It will take a couple of books that you have written. But over time, let people reading your book, they can hear your voice when they're reading your book. That, this is how I need to laugh. You understand? Just like when I'm reading DSA's book, I used to imagine that, DSA is like, at this part. So I imagine him. Huh? Okay, all right. So, all right. So sorry for that, guys. So when I read DSA's books, I see him and I hear him talking to me through his books. That's writing style. Okay, but that's by the way. So this becomes, so answering the question why, how becomes your sub-chapters, okay? Then the last step, there are just 4 of them, I told you. Mojna, diet, just. Is this. And this is what gives flesh to your book. You get relevant quotes, useful quotes. Use them. There are a lot of them. I like this part in writing the book because it helps me a lot. Why? Because I just get someone's quotes and I develop the quote. I explain the quotes. I put in my own thoughts. I said, can you see what this guy is saying? That means he understood this right from that time, and what he said is still relevant to today. It would be good if we can learn from him. You already have your book. What else? Take stories. I like this part too. You take relevant stories. Now you can do this in 2 ways. You can take someone's story, or you can just go to there and get a story and put the exact story as it is. Or you can get a story and break it down. Like the book I edited, I wrote the how to become great without money. I started with a story, and I used a story for the whole book, for the whole chapter. Wow. I just took one part of his life, explained one part of his life, took another part of his life, explained it, took another part of his life, explained it. So I just took one person's story for the whole chapter. So I wrote a person's story for a whole chapter from his story. So take stories and use it. Similar thoughts from other people. The truth about it is that nobody has a what is the word? Nobody has a monopoly of thoughts. Yes. Trust me, what you are thinking, somebody has thought about it before. And somebody might have said something about it before. Maybe not the way you're saying it, but they might have said something about it before. All right, a monopoly of thoughts. I want to rush up so that I can give opportunity for people to ask questions, because I have less than 10 minutes. Then research findings. This is also very good. You know, I told you that 50% of your success in your book conversion is what? Is research, building. When you're doing it, you get a lot of things, useful materials. useful materials, statistics, data, facts, useful ones. Don't throw them away. Keep them, save them, just be keeping them. You find them useful when you start writing your book. You understand? But I added this because when I first wrote the book and I had to add the reference, it was very difficult. Because I was getting stories and I was not adding the reference. And there's something they call plagiarism with book writing. So if you write a book and you take someone's story and you don't keep a reference, like you plagiarize the person's idea. So if you're going to be taking people's quotes or taking stories or taking thoughts from people, it's good that you always have the reference. If it's from a website, make sure you attach the website. If it's from somewhere, attach it, because people want to. You understand what I'm trying to say? Guys, if we apply this to these subchapters, it's already complete. We had a quote. We had a story. We had someone who has thought about that thing before. Or we had some research findings. But it's finished.
Wow.
And you finish, that. What have we done now? We finished your chapter, we broke it into sub-chapters, and we put in all these embellishments into it, quotes. But don't forget that apart from this quote, story, similar thoughts, you have your own unique thought.
Yes. Yes.
Your book is already, you have 40,000 without stress. 4,000 words. That's, I'm talking about close to 200 pages of book. You understand? So these are the first stages of, this is the structure that I use in writing my books. And that's why Christian was saying, because he was able to go through my book and he saw that it was smooth. That was how I used. Just go like that. So before I even start typing or writing, I've already finished my book. So for me, just be putting it codes, put it, add it, put my name, type, this is, and it's done. Now, can you see this?
Wow.
Do you like this? Do you like this picture? Yeah. With all what I've said, as wonderful as it might sound, trust me. The man is looking at it. When the ones are looking like this, that's why we're looking down. There. Hey, can I discipline myself like this? Because in between your where you are and your books.
Reminds me of Emmanuel in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Self-discipline. Because trust me, if you're not self-disciplined, as simple as what I've explained is, you won't write your book. Yeah. You won't write your book. So the gap between you and your book is self-discipline. It will take you to discipline yourself. Sit down. You don't feel like, sit down. Write. Now it becomes very easy for you to write if you have been able to what? Do your research. And you have built your skeleton. That's already 8%. This self-discipline that you need now in writing your book is just 20%. But you need discipline to complete that book. And that's why I was able to write that book in 3 weeks. Because I just put myself, I said, I know. And it was out of, I was annoyed actually. I was annoyed that I've been waiting a lot of time. And I've not had any product for like some months. I'm like, I know what's wrong with you. I just want to say, I know, you sit down and you're going to write this book that you have been researching on. And I told myself, I'm going to write it. Give myself time. Discipline myself. Sat down. I know it's not like I was going to hospital every day. I was going to hospital, I was teaching, I was doing some other jobs. But I disciplined myself. And I was able to finish it. Wow. You understand? So self-discipline is very important. I'll just share some very quick things on how you can complete your manuscript. The first thing is, always have a notebook with you every time. This was what helped me too. Because the thing is that when you have an idea and you're working on a project, you begin to get cues from everything. Yeah. I don't know if people used to feel like that.
Yes.
Everything begins to give you cues. You're like, what a person said, I need it in chapter 2. It happens to me a lot when I'm having a book. When something's on my mind, I begin to get cues from everything. I'm walking on the street, somebody just I just see something happen, I'm like, chapter 5, get my book, add it. Somebody says something, I'm like, chapter 2, add it. So that's why you should have, if you don't have a writing, like a notebook, have your phone. There are many things. There's notebook on phones. There's OneNote. There are different things you can use. Sync. Yeah. Or look at what I say. Audio recording or short articles. This helped me too when I started writing. I mean, I can talk very well. But I didn't know how to write. So what I did was that I would just be talking. I'll be speaking, and I just transcribe.
Wow.
And you know, if you're a speaker, if you can speak very well, you have more advantage with finishing your book. I never knew that. I thought it was a disadvantage. I could not write. Once I just discovered that, I knew you can talk. Why not talk, record, do like you are teaching somebody, and record your teaching and sit back and transcribe. When I did it, and I saw what I got, I say, yepa. Yeah, sorry, give him.
They are to help us.
Can you give him the mic, please?
Oh, sorry.
There are some softwares now that you don't have to manually transcribe it. You just speak, and the software will just write it out for you. Then you can maybe just edit it.
So, fantastic. Great. So I want to quickly rush, please, because I don't have time. Now, the next thing I want you to do is that you have to plan your writing time. This helped me too. You must know your creative time of the day. Your most creative time. For me, it was mornings. When I wake up in the morning, around maybe 6 thereabout, I wake up, my brain is free, very free. I just do what I need to do, open my laptop to start typing. That was my creative moment, my creative time. Some people might be in the night, but you must discover your creative time, where your mind can work well. Find it. Sorry. Then set goals. You see, set goals. If you don't set your goals, you won't be able to complete your book. Set goals. Then I've already said this. I said stop editing while you're what? You're writing. Get an accountability partner. This is very helpful too. Get someone who you're going to be accountable to. Tell the person, bro or my wife or somebody, please, I'm working on a project and I want to make sure that I write 5,000 words at the end of this week. Please ask me every day how many words I've written. I want to write 1,000 words every day. Person will call you. Pastor Sam, how far have you gone? How many words? Oh, I'm on 100. Pastor Sam, before the day finishes, 1,000 words. You know you have to do it. Let somebody motivate you. Sometimes it's very necessary. Accountability partner. It helps me. I'm just telling you what helped me. Before you develop that self-discipline in yourself, you understand, to help you. Then engage in continuous self-education. This is going to help you big time. Because the more you read books, the more you see how people express themselves, the more you know how to express yourselves. Read books. Just read. You start learning vocabularies. You see how people talk. You see how people express themselves. So engage in self-education and set deadlines. If you don't have a deadline, you write a book for 50 years and you never produce. So set a deadline. You don't have to publish your book. For me, that's one of the wisdom I learned. That your book, you don't have to publish your book immediately. For me, I discovered that it was okay. Maybe I don't have to open my hands, but I discovered that one reason why I was rushing to publish my book because I wanted to carry the title of an author. I wanted to be an author. So when I'm an author. So that's what I want to be an author. That I'll put it in my CV, author. But then, thank God for wisdom. I discovered that if I published that book, it will be a wrong timing. All right, so guys, that is where I end. The world is waiting for your book. Don't rot the word of it. Wow. Of it. All right, it's time. It's time for us to end. It's already 7 o'clock. I really wish to answer your questions, but we have to end now because of time.
Thank you very much.
But the good thing is that you guys are here.
We can come to you.
But coming to me, well, is possible because you are here.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll give the opportunity for anyone that, if you have any question you want to ask me. I mean, you guys came to Kyiv, so you have to enjoy. So our live audience, guys, I know you might want to ask, but
Some of them are already asking.
They're already asking.
They're asking how to reach him. So
How to reach it to get his book right? Exactly.
They have to do pre-order.
People already pre-ordering for your
They have
book.
pre-order already.
High five. High five. Yeah, they're already looking for your book, you see.
Yes.
And that's the truth. People are looking for your book.
They're looking for answer. I'm telling
Thank
you.
God for internet too.
People are looking for your book. People are looking for your book. So please get your book. I want to just have one person. We're going to end, but I just want one person to just give me a feedback on what you have gotten. Before I end. Just one person because of time.
This is powerful.
Pastor Nero, sorry. Just one person, and I want it to end. So that I plan to have 10 minutes for feedback, but I'm sorry. Time went.
I want to thank Dr. Anu because I think this program was done for me. I think the other day Dr. Success asked how many books are in you, and I said 5. The truth of the matter is I have 5 books, but I don't know how to go about it. That's been a question that's a question that I've had coming here. That's actually what interested me in coming to HMT. Learn how to conversion. So that's been my heart cry, and today, right now, I received the answer. Amen. So I wanna honestly, this, like I said, this has been the best HMT ever. Because you're getting answers to questions. I'm just to me, if I could go through that, I feel my book is finished already. Just by how simple he made it. So thank you so much. It was so rich, so simple, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let me just give, I said one, but I see that you really want to talk. Yeah. So let me give you the opportunity to talk, and then we'll end.
I booked a one-to-one with Pastor Sunday.
Yeah.
This was one of the things on the agenda that I was going to ask.
Oh, okay.
So you've solved my problem before I've asked it.
You asked.
So you've been an answer to what I was asking for.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Well, thank you. Do you want to slide in? Fine. All right. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to pre-order Pastor Sam's book, get his book later. All right. So guys, we'll be back in an hour time with Dr. Sunday. He is going to be continuing in his teaching. So please, guys, share the link if you've not shared it, and we'll see you in an hour time. Thank you so much. Can we just say bye to our live? Bye. We love you.